Hello, hello. Hello, how are you doing? Having a good time? Is my sound coming through? I hope so. It is. That's good. That's good to know. Anyway, yes. Um thank you all for showing up. This is the fourth focus webcam. The fourth and final reading of Moon Daughter. Very excited to get to the end. Second time I've read this fully. First time I read this fully was obviously to make the review. But now I'm actually reading every single freaking word of it for you guys. And now this is the end of a journey, which I am very, both happy and sad. So, we're going to give it about another 5 minutes for people to trickle in, and then I'm going to do the introductions. Is anyone going to be watching the Quan Mills movie when it comes out? Definitely yes. And if I can access it on Tubi, I might actually make a review of it. Assuming that the Quan Mills videos on this channel continue to do well. So, my neighbor's having a crash out right now. He's been doing that fairly regularly. He'll go on his balcony and he'll just start screaming into his phone. Like, I don't know who he's talking to, but, like, I feel really bad for the person on the other end. Isn't Tubi free? Is it? I can't keep track of all the streaming services. Is it one of those ones where, like, puts, like, advertisements in place of commercials, so you can technically watch it for free, you're just paying for, you're just paying for it by watching ads? Is that how it works? Because if it is, then, like, hell, I'll definitely give Tubi a try. If the Quan Mills movie ever comes out. You know how these things work. So, Tubi is free with ads. Thank you all. That actually helps. We could all watch it, that's right. To be or not to be. Shakespeare. Nice. Honestly, some of Shakespeare's plays probably would end up on Tubi. With all the frickin' dirty, degenerate humor he employed. What happened to the third live stream of Moon Daughter? I will explain that when we start. So, I am disappointed in myself that happened, but I will let you all know exactly what happened, and then talk about where to go from there. Because it is possible to just do a redo of those chapters, but we'll see. We'll see. Quan Mills watch party when? Maybe? I don't know. I actually don't know about, broadcasting movies on YouTube. I think that's just that's poking the dragon a little too much, if you know what I mean. This piece of fiction makes Who Killed Captain Alex like a Steven Spielberg movie. Hey, do not shit on Who Killed Captain Alex. I'm going to tell you that right now. That was made by true visionaries. The scene where they're serving, paint water in the bar and pretending it's like absinthe or something. Just cinema. Also, when they show all those giant storks and the VJ's all like, dinosaurs. That makes me laugh every time. We give it another 2 minutes. We got 17 people in the chat right now, which is, about per usual standards. especially for part 4 of a fanfiction reading. So, I've never watched it. What's it about? Okay, so Who Killed Captain Alex is a movie made by, I believe they're Ugandan filmmakers. Obviously, they grew up very poor. You know, the village they live in is like, you know, straw huts. So the director, he basically like sold a bunch of his possessions and also like had a business selling clay bricks to finance, you know, building a PC and, you know, casting people, buying equipment, making, you know, this movie, which is basically a very cheap but very passionate, like, tribute to Hollywood action films. You know, the effects are terrible. The acting is silly. The writing is freaking incredible. But you just can't help but love it. Because these are guys who have no money and little to no experience, but goddammit, they wanted to make a movie. And they made something that is truly glorious, something that has a lot more passion and heart and entertainment value than, like, a good 30% of movies that come out today. I think it is free on YouTube if you want to look it up. Who Killed Captain Alex? So, please give it a look. Support Ugandan filmmakers. So, yeah. Okay, so, sounds like it's so bad that it's a good product. I mean, it is sounds like a so, excuse me, let me say that again. Sounds like a so bad that it's good product. It is bad, but like it's not like you don't get so bad as good enjoyment out of it. You legitimately like appreciate it for what it's trying to do and what they were trying to do with what little they had. Which is more overused, Infinity or Enigma? I mean, in terms of sheer numbers, Infinity. There were so many infinities in that book. The AI does prefer Enigma, though. It really likes that word, Enigma. The German food joke is hilarious. It is hilarious. I love that. German tourists. Okay. 21 people in the chat right now. We're just going to begin. First things first, though, what happened to part 3? The readings of chapters 41 through 60. Well, I'm afraid that was my fault. Yeah. I was testing out that trim and cut tool on YouTube Studio. And I was trying to trim out some of the fat from that one live stream, like experimentally, you know? So, you know, so some of the parts where there are pauses, you know, the intro, you know, some parts in the middle. And, well, my dumbass thought I was cutting out the parts I wanted to, you know, get rid of, but I accidentally saved the live stream as the parts I wanted to get rid of. Which meant that I turned a 2.5 hour live stream into basically a 20-second clip. And to further rub salt in the wound, apparently YouTube Studio had a revert to original feature where you could take out all the edits and return to the original file. But that was discontinued as of June of this year. So I saw that. I was actually at work when this happened, and I was trying to like research how to get my original thing back. And I had like the loudest silent crash out. Of course I couldn't freak out because I was, you know, at work. But And of course, my dumbass also wasn't recording a backup on OBS, so yes, it is technically lost media. Now, it's not horrible. I appreciate the sympathy, thank you. It's not horrible. I know it breaks the heart. at work watching open heart surgery. I actually was doing that this week. I did that, I sat in on 2 procedures today. Not today, this week. Oh, actually, no, actually, I don't watch open heart surgery all the time. Mostly I sit at a desk. But sometimes I get to do stuff like that. Cool stuff like that. So yeah, regardless, it's not horrible because there's nothing stopping me from just, like, hosting another stream and rereading chapters 41 through 60. I mean, I could do that. Whether or not it's worth it is the question. So, now that I've got all 24 of you here, let me ask you all something. Should I do another live stream to redo chapters 41 through 60? Just to kind of complete the saga. Hello, Gaius Fullman. How are you doing? So we got a yeah, we've got a no. Already, got some mixed results. We're already here. Only if you want to. Don't make a difference when you do it. I love your suffering. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we've got only if you want to, and then do it. I love your suffering. Only if you absolutely make sure you want to have all of it recorded. Probably not. Wow, a lot of mixed results. What I was thinking of doing is, part of the reason why the live streams are so long is because there's a lot of interacting with the chat, a lot of, like, stopping to laugh at the fanfic. A lot of it is, like, to engage with you guys, admittedly. What I could do, I could just record it, do the same voice, the same cadence, laugh at the same things, but trimming away all the fat, for lack of a better term. It could be around an hour and a half. I could just put it up on YouTube and leave it at that. And maybe, like, make a playlist and put it as an unlisted video in the playlist. Kind of fit it in between all the live streams I've done. Okay, I'll let you all know. I mean, the part 1 of the live streams, did really well, admittedly. Who knows? I mean, maybe that original video seen its heyday. But whatever. Are you calling us? I did notice some bandwidth issues, actually, so maybe I am calling you fat. No, I'm kidding. There's no bandwidth issues, and none of you are fat. Y'all are just festive. You could also simply read some fresh, equally horrible fanfics. Yes. Like, there's no harm in going live. Maybe I will. Like, problem is I'm also gone all of next week on vacation, so I won't be able to do it anytime in the near future. But aren't the interactions with the chat part of the fun? Yes, they definitely are. And that's just something I'm going to have to keep in mind when I'm, like, determining what to do. So, can't do it anytime soon because I'll be gone all of next week. I mean, if y'all show up, if I get, like, a crowd similar size to this, then maybe I'll just do it again. But I mean, there's no harm. It's just going to be another, like, another admittedly painful 2 hours. But I am kind of a completionist at heart, so I'm not really completionist. I'm a perfectionist. I mean, I hate when things are incomplete. So we'd have to make all the same jokes and recreate if it was live. True. Anyway, well, I will leave y'all with that. I will decide on my own. But in the meantime, let us finish up Moon Daughter. We have 11 measly chapters to go. Nick, have you ever thought of putting analog horror on a patient's hospital TV for the lulz? No. I have not. And that answers that. We get into Artemis live reading. Okay, whatever. You guys You guys just want my blood. I see. I see how this is going. Okay, so we are back on chapter 61 of Moondaughter. When we left off, Flavia had quashed Tay rebellions, and in order to prove her godfulness, now she has to complete the 12 labors of how did she spell it? Hercules? That's right. So, I think I mentioned this in the review. The rest of the fanfic's just gonna be Flavia doing the labors of labors of Hercules, which, not nearly as eventful as the previous 60 chapters, but whatever. No way I caught you live. It's almost 2 a.m. where I live. Holy crap. Well, thankfully, we only have about 11 chapters to go, so it should not take as long. So, without further ado, we're going to get started with the final handful of chapters of Moondaughter. Chapter 61. The Flesh-Eaten Whores. When I got back to the Roman camp, Artmaeus said, "Is thou task done?" I said nothing. Instead, I showed her my new converse made from the skin of the loin, ripped off his bare caress. "Thou new converse are fucking kawaii," said Artmaeus solemnly, with eyes that spoke of admirement. "But there is a new task. Thou knowest to drill." "OMG, there's too many tasks," I yelled with despair. There was lightning and thunder in the sky, and a gentle storm hammered to earths. Get it? Like Thor's hammer, except I don't like Thor, so shut the fuck up. Because Chris Hemsworth is blonde, and therefore preppy, and a slut. Alabaster took a vial from his pocket and took off that wood thing that is an alcohol bottle so minors can't get in. Does she mean a cork? What? Here, Flavia, this is a magic potion. It's brewed to take all despair from her heart and steel you for to task. I stated at tip potion willfully. Should I drink this or not? What was my soul without pain of the past? I would be I but a empty shell. It was like there was two of me, and one swimped silently. Drink the potion and thou can be happy. But the other one was like, no, Flavia, this will make thou who are etho not. Beautiful. Oh my fucking Zeus, how can I decide this? I yelled, and a tear sludged from my eyes softly. It's okay, you don't have to drink it if you don't wanna, Alabaster expanded all sensitive. What's this task anyways? I asked to Artmaeus. Thou must steal to flesh-eater whores from Diomedes, she pronounced. Yeah, pronounced, guys. I think she means Diomedes. Is that the guy from Greek mythology? He had the flesh-eating horses. Wait, flesh-eater, this means they eat people, I said. Can I kill them at least? No, thou must capture them alive, said Artmaeus. Hello? This sucks, 'cause these are evil horses. Clearly they must be killed for to greater good, I yelled. But to gods want them like a gift, Artemis excussed. Okay, fine, I won't kill them, I promised. Now where is this Diomedes? He liveth on the other side of these forests, explained Artmaeus. She gave me a map and everything. I went on my new kick-ass motorcycle, and Alabaster sat behind me with his strong arms clenched around me, but only around my waist, not acutely touching my bobs, you pervert. It only took a couple minutes, 'cause we flew at the speed of the winds. Then we saw a giant barn, and we stopped. There was a sign. It said Diomedes on it. Also Diomedes was there too. He was this Greek guy wearing a toga, and he wasn't hot at all. That's how you know he's evil. "Stop, thou thieves!" he yelled, but I took Jakina's doom and I shot at him right in the heart. It's okay, because I wasn't supposed to kill the horses. Jesus Christ. "Where are the whores?" asked Alabaster. We went into the barn. There were 6 horses, and they were all black as the stars of midnight. Also, they had fangs like a Dracola. Also, evil eyes, and they glared at us. "How can we catch them alive?" asked Alabaster. "You can use magic to catch them alive," I expanded profusely. A single tear slipped from his eyes. "I used all my magic to kill Tinimone Lion. It needs to recharge." "Wait, don't you have magics always?" I yelled. "Fucking liar!" Alabaster knelted down. "I'm sorry, I thought you knew this. Please don't break up with me." "Well, see," I said. Now there was a bigger task to be dealt. Suddenly I had a very wise idea. I pulled out my silver-pated handgun and I shotted all 6 horses, and they fell dead in a sec. What? Hold on, I need to explain this. "What the fuck? You can't do that. They have to be alive," yelled Alabaster. I forgave his swearing cause he didn't understand yet, lol. Yeah, clearly Alabaster's the idiot. "I acutely just gave these horses to Hades," I said calverly. I got a vision then, so we both saw. Hades was sitting on his throne listening to a depressing song when the ghosts of the 6 horses apparated in the underworld. Hades was grateful, and he tied them to his chariot. "You're wise, Flavia. I never would think of this," Alabaster admitted to me. His face was all red, cause he was embarrassed. Artmaeus glimmed next to us. "Thou have only 5 tasks left." I glared all badass into the screen. "Bring it on!" Wow. See, I'm still in the middle of reading through the Percy Jackson series, and I think the horses would actually end up in Tartarus, not by Hades. So, yeah, the screen, right? Is Flavia staring at us through the screen right now and proclaiming how much of a badass she is? That's what I want to know. Either that or Artmaeus appeared on an iPad or something. "I killed 6 horses with my silver-plated handgun" sounds like a Quan Mills book. It does, doesn't it? If Quan Mills ever does Greek mythology, that's what's going to happen. Author's note. Well, guess what? Kyla's at camp where there's no Wi-Fi, and they took her phone so she can't beta this. Fook tat. Bro. Poor Kyla. Poor Hannah. How's she ever gonna spell correctly without her best friend Kyla beta reading? This fanfic's gonna go completely downhill now. Anyway. Chapter 62. The Learnin' Hydra. Your next task is to kill Learnin' Hydra, Artmaeus expanded. Wait, so it's like a hydra. This means a snake, but with 9 heads, I said. Thank you, Flavia. Yes, but when you cut off its head, another head sprungs to appear its place, said Artmaeus tragically. Yes, but at least I get to kill the hydra, I snarked. Get it? 'Cause these other times I had to capture it alive. But even though I snarked widfully, my heart was sick off these fucking tasks. I couldn't wait for them to be done, 'cause then I would be godness, with Alabaster in Olympics. The future of us stretched before me like a path of flowers, but not prep flowers like Daisy, 'cause they sucks, and I step on them when they blot my sight. Yes, Flavia, huntress, champion of all things living. I could see us, but like a vision. I would be the goddess of badassery and also the darkness, and Alabaster would be the god of darkness magics, because Hecate. The future would be glorial, and all those swimperin' perps from Camp Half-Blood like Annabeth, Annbeth, and those other Aphrodites would have to bow before me, and Albaster too. And Artmaeus would be proud. Let's go kill a fucking leanin' Hydra! I shouted to the heathens. So me and Albaster went to kill to fucking Lenin Hydra. Lenin Hydra. It's a Vladimir Lenin with 9 heads. You cut off one head and it distributes to another head. She's so cool. Thank you, CK, for acknowledging how cool Flavia is. Hope your neighbors heard that. He probably couldn't hear it because he's still young on the phone, so. But Ivy couldn't come because she had to go to a Dyrad meeting, like a camp. See what I did there? LOL. No, I don't see what you did there. Where the Learnin' Hydra swamped was a secret, because so many people tried to kill it and it just made more heads. Right now it had like 60. So Albaster used his God pod, get it, like an iPod, but God, because this story has 2 gods in it. God pod. You already made this joke, Flavia. You whore. And he accessed Goggle Maps and got the directions. It was 739.67 miles to the location. Why so specific? Ugh. It's not my head, it's our head. Lenin Hydra, probably. Exactly. Yes. It is all of our heads. We got on my new kick-ass motorcycle and followed to directions, but not exactly, because that is for preps, so we took some side roads. Also, my kick-ass new motorcycle had a kick-ass stereo, so we blasted I Don't Love You by My Chemical Romance so loud that trees fell in our wake. Jesus. This song was not because I didn't like Albaster, because I fucking did, but it was for all those who failed to be my BF, like Percy and Chiron. Also, fuck you, Haley. Oh my god, she went there. She called out Haley in the fanfic. Poor Haley, she is getting the shit end of the stick right now. When do you think she's gonna attack Kyla now? If y'all remember from, I think it was in part 3, you know, Haley stopped beta reading because she got a boyfriend named James and couldn't dedicate any more time to Hannah's shitty fanfic. So then Hannah got a new BFF, Kyla, who is beta reading now. And Jason as well. Haley was, so who's Haley? Haley was Hannah, the author's real-life friend, who was started beta reading around chapter, like, 25 or something like that. And she allegedly beta read for about 20 chapters until apparently Haley got a boyfriend named James and started spending all her time with him and could not dedicate time to Hannah's fanfic, so Hannah got pissed, dumped Haley as her BFF, and then replaced her with Kyla. So, Haley choosing a BF over beta reading. Pathetic. Honestly, like, if only we all beta read more, we would solve all this world's problems in 3 days. My new kick-ass motorcycle was so fast that we made the whole trip in 7 parsecs. The wind splintered before us, magically. When we got to Lyre of the Learnin' Hydra, the ground was sprinkled with bones and skulls, also some arms and legs and stuff that hadn't turned into bones yet. I knocked on the door of Lyre. The lair has a door? Really? Just a wooden door that you knock on for access? Fanfiction before hoes, as the saying goes. Yep. And the Learnin' Hydra sprunged from the darkness within. Instead of being like all the other fucking losers and trying to chop off a head, I thought, but what about poison? So I pulled out some poison and poured it into its ravern maw, and the poison went into its heart and it dropped dead like acid. Flavia, you are so fucking hot when you kill, said Albaster all sensitively, and we made out right there on the corpus of the Lenin Hydra. Damn! This fanfic has some surprise, like, really surprisingly, like, metal moments. It's really, like, something else. Chapter 63. To Golden Apples. The golden apples, intoned Artmaeus. For this was the task that was entrusted to me, so I must quest. And so it was. I picked 2 loyal companions. Firstly, I picked Albaster. I was going to pick Ivy, then I realized she was still in camp, so I must choose again. For this, I chose Frank. He was acutely Chinese and hot, builded like a mighty hill among mountains. Also, he wore a sweet leather jacket. It was ripped, and so was he, LOL, if you know what I mean. C, is that racist? Hannah's trying to do some revisionist history with how poorly she treated Frank. She's trying to make him sound like a badass now, obviously. Albaster read from a duskly tome. The golden apples live in the land of Hess spiders. Well, this will be a fucking piece of cake, I observed. I just have to pick these apples, unless maybe there's a monster guarding them. Acutely, this is a correct assessment, said Albaster. There's a dragon there called Teloden. Oh no, the Lodano, gay-seped Frank. Of course there's a monster. There's always a fucking monster, I snarked metaphysically. But he can be killed, said Albaster. Well, if he's mortal, he can taste the salt of my blade, I yelled all badass. It was appropriate, 'cause I would be the goddess of badass someday. Someday if I finished my tasks. By this time, we were in the land of Hespideres. Whatever. It was a big feld all full of grass. The grass was green. It was long and waved It was long and waved seductively in the 4 winds. How? Hannah! First you're lusting over old men, then you're lusting over young boys, then you lusted over your brother, then a freaking lion, now you're lusting over grass. Girl, do you need to take some, like, hormone suppressants or something? You are much too young to be having these thoughts. Being sexually aroused by grass. Ridiculous. Grass-pilled. Yes. Ugh. Hannah, there's a website for people like you. It's called Grass Hub. That joke was a lot funnier in my head. Anyway. I wanted only to lay in the grass and gaze at the Cephly clamp of star. What? Okay, I've been able to like, generally understand what this bitch is trying to say. But what is this? The Cephly clamp? What is a Cephly clamp? Hello? But I knew this was not to be. Cause just then I saw a dragon with lots of heads. Hello, I was in danger, I didn't have time to count, so too bad if keepin' count. And I knew this was the Loden. I unseated Asgard 2 and plunged it in the monster's face, but there were more faces. Ooh. Then I cut off all the rest of the heads. It spitted poison, but it missed, lol, in its face. Get it? 'Cause it had a lot of faces. OMG, you didn't leave any for us, complained Frank, but he was joking. Well, you can help me pick the apple, I said, genderously. Genderously. Now Flavia's gender bending. This girl, if she becomes a goddess, like, she will become much too powerful. Unrelated, but since you brought it up in your first Moondana stream, I'm honor-bound to inform you there are Transformers comics. Yeah, some people want me to review, like, Transformers novels, comics, whatever, but, like, I don't know anything about Transformers, so I couldn't even, like, know where to start. Hannah's actually the real-life incarnation of Glenn Quagmire. Yeah, true, if he had, like, an equally perverted daughter or something. So he went apple picking, and it kicked multiple ass. I stood it on Frank's head, and reached the very topely apple. It sundered of gold in the twilight. Not that kind. Ew. Oh my god. You know, I read Twilight. It is slightly less dignified than Percy Jackson. You have no legs to stand on, Hannah. And I was about to pick this last apple when a voice said, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smelled the blood of a Dane god." It was a giant, but it was no ornery giant. It was Atlas. Atlas is a titan. Thank you very much. "At last! What the hell?" I yelled. Stealing my apples," he thundered roarously. "Now you must die." And I gotta say that like Ganon. "You must die!" It's dreadful. I'm not gonna try that again. They're not even apples. They acutely belong to the knives, I explained. But he did not care, and he tried to attack us, but Alabaster said, "Wait, if you attack us, the world will fall." I looked it up. It was true. He had to carry the world on his back, so he couldn't attack us, or he would drop it and it would fall. "Okay," he said, but it was a lie. Suddenly, he threw the world. Alabaster yelled, "Someone catch this." I knew the world would be destroyed if it fell. Jesus Christ. Author's note. Kyla is back. She betad this for me. Thanks, Kyla. You're epic. Wow. I really hope Kyla lasts throughout the rest of the fanfic. We need someone to survive. Someone besides Hannah. Like, Haley's already dead. James probably already got killed as well. I left for a sec. Are they still fighting the Hydra? No. They killed the Hydra, then they killed Loden, and now they're fighting Atlas. Chapter 64. I catch the world. The world hurtled through the air. "No!" I yelled slowly. Excuse me. "No!" I yelled slowly. It was like the world around me slowed. I could see in slow-mo the world was falling to its death. What if we all died? Quickly, I made a leap, but not a normal leap. It was a leap of fate. With all the procession of Artmaeus and the swifting of a ghostly deer, I metered the distance and knew where it must fall. I reached out with a slim, pale hand and caught the world. I could feel it shake beneath my feet as I caught it. But I must be careful not to drop it, cause this would be death. But more important, what if I was stuck holding it forever and ages? I would crush under the mightly load. Atlas snarked. Finally, I am free. Now I will kill you, and then Disney World. Ah! Atlas, you jerk. First the world, then Disney World. It's gonna hold up Disney World next. I gritted my teeth. Disney sucks anyways. This wasn't acutely true, cause Maleficent... Oh, there we go, there's Maleficent. The new movie kicks ass. I mean, the cartoons with stupid prep-fueled princesses. It's consumerist. Flavia does not identify with the Disney princess. Too preppy, much too blonde, much too slutty for her tastes. Oh my god, that's Cinderella. Oh my god, I heard she had like 5 different guys in her vagina one night. That's Hannah talking, not me, by the way. Direct quote from Hannah. Put that in the bank. Well, it doesn't matter. I can go anywhere I want now, Atlas laughed. Because you're stuck holding the world forever. he... he mooned... I can't even read this properly. Hold on. He mooned us grossly and daunted away. No way. A tear squeezed from Alabaster's eye. Not the Titan's curse, he yelled. Who must bear the world? If you escape, mused Percy? Where did he come from? He wasn't there. Percy was never there. Frank was there. It's the will of the gods. The gods are fucking stupid, I said. Why not build a stand? The world will be glued to this stand. That way no one has to hold this shit up all the time. OMG, Flavia, you have the wisdom of Athena, said Percy admirably. So Percy and Alabaster chopped down the tree with the golden apples, and they made a stand all from wood. We will name this creature of wood Atlas, but wood. This is a deep name, I improved. I carefully took the world and balanced it on the stand. Alabaster made a glue spell that stuck the world with the power to stand the wood. Even a great wind couldn't knock it over, it was so strong. The world was saved now, and I could do my next task. Remember to check out author's note. Remember to check out my other story, Eva, Agent of Sheld. It has lots of good reviews, and it's about the Avengers and Eva, my OC. Nah. Chapter 65. I steal 100 cows. I only had 3 tasks left, and this next one was to steal many cows. But not from a zoo. From a man with 3 bodies, except still only 1 head. Yeah, it's fucking weird. His name was Geronimon, and he had all the cows on his farm of evil, and a ferocious dog guarded them. Well, killing him will be the easy part, I swipped. Even though he has 3 bodies, he only has 1 head, so it will take 1 shot. Take 1 headshot. Yes, but what if he fights back? Frank said worriedly. Then we kill him, I said. It must be done for the Greta good. As I spoke this, I loaded bullets into my sliver-pated handgun, and it clicked all badass. What do we do with the cows? How can we carry them back? Said Alabaster. Of course I picked him to quests because he was my internal destinied BF. Maybe there's a spell, I quadded. He found a spell and made a giant golden goblet, like a cup up here. I said wisely, we could put the cows in this cup, and it will float on the rivers all the way to Olympics. I wanted to give them to Artemis and Apollo like a gift, cause cows suck, and I didn't want 100 fucking cows. So it was me and Alabaster and Frank motorcycled all the way to the farm of evil. It was like a farm, but evil. There was a Sinastra hill, and on it sat a mighty red barn. It had a tower, or a Silas, connection to it. I knew there within the cows. A aurora of evil hangs on this place. There is much death here, said Alabaster. 'Cause he was magic, he could tell this. Well, let's grab to fucking cows and get out, said Frank. But he whispered it so no one else would hear this. There is a guard dog here, I explained. We can't make any unnecessary smells or it will be sent us with its keen nose. But right before I spoke this, Frank made an unnecessary Frank farted! Guys, we have farts in this fanfiction now. That's how you know it's high quality. What the fuck, Frank? What the fook? I shouted. Frank locked pale. Hera made me do it. She's against this question. Wow. Hera made Frank fart, everybody. Hera's now the goddess of farts. Thought there's already a wind god. Anyway, I saw a turkey that wandered past. It seemed to me like this was a vision, and the face of Hera looked at me from the face of this turkey with mocking. I steeled my teeth with distrage, and with one wipe of my sword, this turkey was dead meat. But Hera was not. Suddenly there was a noise like a dog barking. A dog ran to us, and it was a guard dog. It was the biggest dog in the world, maybe even than Cerebros, except it had one head. I prepared to shoot it, but as I posed my weapon, there was another thing coming towards us. It was Geronimo. Alabaster made a spell. He yelled, "Stupidify!" And in a flash of green light, Geronimo was on the ground, not dead, just inconscious. Also the dog as well. With 3 wavings of Asgard, 2, they were dissolved into dust of to earth. "Quick, to the barn," I yelled, and we ran to the barn. It was full of 100 cows. They were mowing thunderously, with help from Alabaster and Frank, and I put the cows into the golden cup, and it floated down the rivers of the gods until it stopped in Olympics. Now these gods belong to Artemis and Apollo, like a sacrifice. Jesus Christ, there's still more to read. Come on, chapter 66 out of 72, we can do this. Chapter 66, The Cretan Bull. Artemis was pleased with the gift of many cows. She gave us the next task, and it was, I must catch the Cretan Bull. What the futla with all the cows, I know, right? It's a Ferris bull that spits... Okay, why does she keep saying Ferris? Is she trying to say, like, Ferris as in Ferrous, like iron? Because she says this a lot, with a lot of things that are made out of metal. I think she's trying to say, like, iron, but she's trying to be fancy. But instead calls it a Ferris wheel. It's a Ferris bull that spits fire and everything, said Artemis. Also, there is another thing. Thou said not kill this bull. That's bull, I snided. Get it? Like bull sit? But after you catch it and bring it back to right here, you can sacrifice it, maybe to Artemis or Apollo, said Artemis. I pondered my mind over this. But then it will be dead. Yes, but it will be here, said Artemis. This clarified me, so I went to catch the Cretan bull. It lived on an island simply called Crete. It was like 60 miles away, so it was a long ride with our motorcycles. I had a kick-ass sound system, so I hookered my iPod to speakers, and it played so loud that the ground shook under our wheels, and the earth split like an earthquake. I considered it to have a big party when I finished the tasks, with alcohol and everything. Also, my favorite bands would be invited to do the music. But firstly, the tasks. At last, we reached Crete. It was all rocky and evil, and I knew this would be a perfect place for the bull to attack. While it was a good thing I was wearing a lot of armor, it was flame-proof and also black, with slivered designings. There was a crescent moon on the front. It shone fulsomely. On the other side right on my back, there was one simple word. Death. Also, I had Asgard too. It was my new favorite weapon because I used it to most. In case you forgot, it had a black handle and it was 5 feet long to a sharp point. It was so sharp it cut through solid crystal. Goodbye, Rocky Studios. Have a good time. Have a good rest of your night. Frank had a Japan sword. It's called a katana. It was sharp, but not as sharp as Asgard 2. Also not as long or big. Also blood red armor. Lastly, Alabaster had armor too, and it shimmered greenly cause Hecate. It had magic shapes on it, like triangles, but mystic. Well, just then, the Cretan bull busted from the rocks with a roar so loud that cracks opened in the earths. Flames swept from its mouth like cruel bees from a hollow log. It ran towards us. I garbed Drakina's doom and shot an arrow at its face, but it just bounced off like Superman. Frank shot at an arrow, but this one also bounced off too. It bounced off so hard it ricocheted and shot himself into leg. Frank. My man, Frank. Now it was only me and Alabaster to fight the bull. It was a deathly foe. What the fuck? Why isn't it being shot? I yelled. This is because it's made of metal, explained Alabaster. I looked and it was true. The bull was no ornery bull. It was made from It was made from bonds. That's like metal. I had a wise idea then. Kill it with a spell, I yelled. No, but we can't kill it. Artmaeus said so, he remembered me. But you cannot get out, I said. Alabaster said the words of power, and it casted a spell, but something awful happened. It bounced off and hit Alabaster, and he was knocked unconscious. Thanks, Alabaster. I realized then this bull was not alive. It was like a robot, so it couldn't be killed. Suddenly the bull ran towards Alabaster. I knew it was going to step on him and maybe kill him. No, I said, and I threw Asgard 2 at it, but it was metal, so it did not stop. Suddenly someone garbed Alabaster and pulled him to a safe rock. It was Jason. Jason showed up. Author's note. Warning, this part is very tragic. Spoilers warning 1. Chapter 67. Jason dies. No, not Jason. Not Jason, guys, no. Jason! What they fook? I yelled. I followed your quest. I realized Tat Fluttershy is a friend to all living things. But when we killed Tespil porcupines, they were dead, so they were not living things. And Fluttershy is no friend of theirs, he explained. Wait, so are good now? I said, confussed. I'm still a brony. I'm still a brony, but I can help with the quests and stuff, he said. I realized then, just 'cause he is a brony, maybe I shouldn't judge him. Wow. Such wisdom from him, Flavia. It's not like he's a fury or anything, but this must wait, because now we must catch the Cretan bull. Alabaster was knocked unconscious, so he couldn't do a spell, but then I remembered the book Tat Hecate gave me on my B-Day. It was full of spells. Maybe there was one to catch the bull. I knew I was powerful to cast it, cause Hecate said there would be much potential in me, but I would find it in time. You Sali dame gods can't cast magics unless Hecate, but I knew there was potential deep inside my soul otherwise. Why would I have the book? Quick! Cast her the spell! Yelled Jason Bronily. Bronily! That's an adverb now, folks. Hannah's out here just, reinventing the frickin' dictionary. I reached into my soul. This was just an advice, not real life. Duh, it'd have to cut myself open to reach my soul in real life. And I garbed my potential and yelled with a mighty voice, Crucial! 1. The Cretan bull was paralyzed with sheer fearness, except it shitted itself with fear. LOL. Tat is one big pile of bullshit, witted Jason. Wow. The bull neighed in anger, but it could do nothing but stand, paralyzed in place. I put it in the golden cup and got ready to send it to the Rome camp. But first I went to Alabaster and did a spell to wake him up. I waved Asgard 2 mystically and said, Impervio, and his eyes busted open slowly and sensitively. What happened, Flavia? He asked. I have the magics of Hecate, I explained. Lol, I bet you were expecting for Jason to die. That's called a twist. Ah! Arr! Hannah! Hannah, girl! Frickin', like, Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, David Lynch could never. Hannah out here just reinventing ways to tell a story. She's a true visionary. Does Hannah believe in the physical location of the soul, like a medieval alchemist? She probably thinks her soul is like just like some smaller ghostly version of herself, like living in her chest or something like that. That's probably what she honestly believes. She played us like a damn fiddle. I know. Honestly, I feel so freaking played right now. I feel like such a fool. I feel so unworthy in the presence of Hannah. Good grief. Oh my gods. It's in the pineal gland. God. Chapter 68. A duel of deep love. Now, it was the time you're all waiting for. My last final task. Artmaeus told it to me. Thou must clean to Augan's stables. Wow, this is a very lame task and not epic at all, I said with disgust. But it's even worse. Thou must clean it in one day, said Artmaeus. Also, the cows inside are immortal, so there's like 6,000 years of bullshit inside. Her voice was stern with grossfulness. Then it must be done, I stated, and I called Alabaster and Jason for a talk. We must cleanse it with the two rivers Alphys and... the two rivers, Alphys and Penis. Yes, the great, long, flowing river of white. Penis. Oh my... Oh my god. No, not that kind, you perv. Then why say it at all, Hannah? Why say it at all? If you thought we were gonna be pervs, then why even type the fact that it was called the River Penis? It was sicking and gross, but it must be done. So I jumped onto my kick-ass motorcycle, also did Alabaster. Jason had a new motorcycle as well. It was gold in the swivening colors of Fluttershy. Also it had runes in the secret brony talks. He had a weapon, a special weapon called Ninchucks. It's like what ninjas have, and it's so fucking kawaii. Ninchucks. Except his was violet. That's like purple, except not too girl-colored. Alabaster clinched his book of magics tightly, ready to caster a spell if needed. But in case this didn't work, he also brung a weapon too, a magical sword. It was green to core and shimmered with much spells. Also, it was 5 feet long and sharp as steel mixed with irons. I knew instantly this was a weapon of power. I wiped out my own sword, Asgard too. It shone darkly like a crescent moon of night. Let's see how good you are with Earth's sword, I said all flirtly. It was a duel, but not to the death, and just until I went, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so wait, so she's fighting Alabaster to see who loves each other? Me and Alabaster fought until we got face to face and our teeth steeled. He thrustered, but I fought back with parries. Finally, I swept 'tis sword from his hands. It cluttered to the earth with the hollow clang of loserness. I pointed my sword at his throat. Are you gonna sunder or what? I said hotly. Whew! My god, the sexual tension between these two is just impalpable. I'm back. What I miss? Rocky Studios, you missed the river penis. I wish I was making that up. Alabaster sundered. You're so fucking hot right now, but not as hot as to heart of a burned star, he said all poetic. My heart leaped into the star of which he spoke. Instantly we began to make putt. Jason watched us with a big smile on his face. Well, you lovebirds, are we going to quest or not? I knew this must wait until the quest was done. I must not let distractions distract me from my tasks. Without one word, I jumped from my motorcycle, and we thundered off into the background. Into the background! like it's a frickin' Roadrunner cartoon. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Chapter 69. To finale task. The Ogden stable spared before us like a map of barns. It was in a valley not too far from the Roman camp. It fucking stunk from the sit of hundreds, maybe even thousands of immortal cows. It was a place of wretchedness and muck. Alabaster shake his head. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. The world should be free of pollution to smell like a fresh wind of spring. I consulted my spells, but I can't find one that cleans a mess like this. The rune is too deep. The cold breezes blew my hair by my face. I looked on the barns and I knew this was a task that must be completed. But how? Artmaeus said we must use these two rivers, Atlas and Penis, I explained. I can't believe she did it twice. She actually said it twice. And in chapter 69 as well. Freaking river penis. Not like that. OMG, stop perving on my story, sicko. Yes, but these rivers are in Greece. It would take greater magic to move them to these barns, said Alabaster. Well, I'm not going to fucking give up, I yelled, because I'm not a quiter. A solution would be found. I knew I must clear my mind firstly and become a deep thinker, not a empty shell person. I divulged in my mind. It was like I heard the voice of Artmaeus. One thing you must always remember. There is always hope. Listen. Where there's life, there is hopefulness. These words of wisdom filled me with an idea. Look, Alabaster, these rivers were from nature, and nature is from Artmaeus. What we need to clean this place is a force of nature, I expanded. What is a strong thing of nature? Asked Alabaster. He nodded approve at my wisdom. Well, to force most strongest force of nature in the world is love! I yelled trumpetly. As I spoke these words, I knew I was right. The greatest love in the world was my love for Alabaster, and fell to the earth, and comets sparkled around us. What? Look, it's workin', said Alabaster, but we kept kissin' 'cause we didn't even care. The force of love was so great that all the stuffs melted away with a cleaning power. Wouldn't that be something every time you kissed your lover? It would just like rain comets from the sky. It'd be like a light show or a defense mechanism. Such a prep comment. Yeah, you know what? You're right. The notion that love would solve everything, it is a preppy mindset. That is exactly the sort of lesson you would get from the Disney movies that Hannah was crapping on a few chapters ago. I was disassociating until the word love came out of nowhere. Agreed. Suddenly there is a light and many flashes. The gods ascended from Olympus. Armaeus came over to me and said, Flavia, thou hast completed thou most dangerous 12 tasks. Thou hast transcended the power, and now thou canst be a goddess. OMG, fucking finally, I yelled with a great joy. All the gods and goddesses kneeled down, even Hera and Aphrodite, but they couldn't do anything, lol. Alabaster misted from the shadows. He kneeled down and said, Flavia, there's a very important thing you should know about. It's my biggest secret. He's put his hand in his pocket and took out a ring. It was all silver with a black ruby crescent moon attached to it, so when you put on the ring it would light up. Flavia, will you marry me? Oh my god, you guys! Alabaster and Flavia, together at last. My heart thudded into my chest. I opened my mouth to speak of yesfulness. What would be my answer? Yesfulness? Yesfulness. No way. Ugh. I have a Olympus. You better get that checked. Free-furred. If you have an Olympus, always check your body for Olympuses, folks. Chapter 70. The Party of Goddessness. I looked at the ring that Alabaster was holding. Finally, I spoke. Okay, we can get married. It was like a fire walk exploded all the way back to Roman camp. All the dame gods woke up and fell to their knees in amazement at our great love. Even though it was midnight and the darkest hour, I had the biggest fucking party in the world to celebrate. We took all the furniture out from the temple of Zeus, 'cause it's the biggest one, and also the altars, but we left the incest... Stop saying incest, Hannah! Left the incest burners and put in some moon-flavored incest from the temple of Artemis. Moon-flavored incest. Moon-flavored incest. Whatever. Fuck you. We put up some banners that were sliver and black and shaped like a crescent moon. On it said, Flavia x Alabaster for life's XX. Wait, you can't marry him, whined Annabeth. Why? I demanded, except I knew. It was 'cause her jealousy made her jealous. But you have to be a virgin to be a goddess, she snitted. My eyes flashed with triumph. Except Armaeus said I could if I did 12 tasks and I competed them all, I yelled. That's not fair, yelled Annabeth. Aphrodite wouldn't allow for this to happen. But right then Artemis apparated like a shining beam of the moon. Aphrodite won't let them marry. What the fuck, she's supposed to be a virgin, complained Annabeth. Do thou I fucking with I? Demanded Artemis in a voice like thunders. The goddess all agreed, and thou must submit to their idea, or maybe thou think thou art more powerful than te gods. Jesus Christ, is a long chapter. Annabeth was a very coward, so she slunk away, but that was okay, because she wasn't invited to the party anyways. Instead, Hazel was there, also Leo. They were a cute couple, and also gothics. Also there was Jason, because he was good now. Also Frank. I even made Percy come, even though he was my ex. He had no hard feelings and didn't reaction like a little bitch about it. It was good, because it was a very kick-ass party. Wine coolers flowed like blood. There was cherry, raspberry, and panna colada, except no strawberry because they're gross, and sorry if you like it, but a loser, and you must retry. Also, Ivy was there too. What's that? Someone said I miss Ivy? Well, congratulations. Somehow Ivy returned. There you go. Fanfic redeemed. Congratulations for your wedding, yelled Frank. Wait, I'm not married yet. This is just a party to engage, I explained. 'Cause my wedding, the real thing would happen in 3 weeks, and this would take much planning. Also, I needed a dress and stuff. Obbs Hazel would be my maid of honor, and Ivy and Jason would be my bridesmaids. Jason was a brony, so that's kind of like a girl. Anyways, there's... I can't. This fucking story. Anyways, there were no Otter girls. Yeah, there's no other girls because you killed them all, Hannah. You moron. Wait, who will be the best man and the guys that walk with the bridesmaids? I asked from Alabaster. What the fuck are they called? I just called him brides guys. Also the ring bearer. Well, Percy will be the best man and Leah will be the ring bearer, said Alabaster. Also Frank. But we need a flower girl. She has to be a toddler, and there are no dame gods who are toddlers, I explained. Well, since there are no small girls to throw flowers, I was thinking maybe I can nominize Fluttershy, said Jason. But Fluttershy is a lie, I explained to remember him. Yes, but Hephaestites made me an automaton. It's like a robot, but also a plushie, said Jason. I wanted to be a good, accepting person and not a judgmentalist, so I said, okay. Who will we invite? Said Alabaster. We made a list. Guess who was not on it? Annabeth won. Also Piper and Octavius. 'Cause they were dead. The list said, Artmaeus, Hecate, Hades, except not Persephone, Apollo, Poseidon, Socrates, Chiron, and some minor gods. Mr. D was not invited either, cause last time he was at Roman camp, he rapped worse than Justin Bieber. And not because he was looking up child prawn on Chiron's computer, because he rapped worse than Justin Bieber. See, there's a mistake in that chapter. It says he rapped with Frank, but some haters read this and couldn't read correct because they think he said he rapped Frank. But this is just an error. It's not true. Anyway, he was a perv. Anyways, the party was just getting started. Hades was there, so he resected some dead bands, and they played the 50 most badass songs ever discovered. We moshed so wildly that the temple windows broke from shock. Many dame gods were stepped on, but they were okay later. Then we played a adult game that I can't post here because that would make this rated more than M. Oh. What is rated more than M? NC-17? X, maybe? Flavia played a porn game with her friends. That's the only way I could interpret that. And of course that game was Spin the Bottle. Also, we watched a movie. It was Thor 2, The Dark World. Bestly of all, Zeus used his god powers to make make Thor 3, and guess what? It was all Loki and no Thor. Ha! Isn't that Thor Ragnarok? Isn't that Thor 3? Freaking amazing. I think Alabaster is a little jealous of Loki, lol. Lastly, Alabaster did stunts onto Temple selling with his motorcycle. There were flashing lights that flashed so hard that maybe it could give mortals a sore. Lastly, we went to bed at 7 in the morning, but the gods blessed us so there was no hangovers. Jesus. Oh my god, this chapter's long. Chapter 71. The Real Wedding. It was 3 weeks later. Now the actual wedding was today. First, I knew I needed a dress. Maybe if you're a prep, you're thinking it was white and Fluffly. Well, no. Artmaeus made some knives and minor goddesses make it for me. It was leather and black and winded around me tightly, except it was adorned with like 600 sliver stars and crescent moons. Some were silver, but some were red. Also, it had a cut in the side that went all the way up to my waist, and also black fishnets, but very thin ones where you could see there were fishnets if you looked close. Note, I know some flamers got mad because they said I described my cloths too much, but this was my first wedding, so back off and cut me some excuse. I had a vow that was 13 feet long, made all from that meshly lace stuff, and what do I need to tell you? It was black. To stick to my head, I had a tiara, but not a princess kind. Ew. It had a skull into center of the forehead. Get it? A center, like Creon, because he was invited to the marrying. And it was all pale silver. Also, it had spikes that gleamed flickly. Also, I had some pale foundation. Maroon lipstick on the bottom lip. Cause what? You think I only like black and red? And black onto top. Black kohl all around my eyes to make them look bigger, and some eyelashes extensions. Also a earring like a silver crescent in one ear, and a white tiger into other ear. And just cause you think I was too girly about cloths, I was wearing combat boots, except with stiletto heels. Lastly, I put a spell on my crescent tattoo on my forehead. I could do this now, cause Hecate, so it glittered darkly. Alabaster was wearing not a suit, but a leather jacket all black and textured. Also black jeans with runes on them and a metric fuck-ton of metal. Also he was wearing a godly crown made from antlers like a stag, cause they were Artmaeus' fave animal. His arms were bare and showed many magical tats. He was so hot, I thought maybe. My heart clenched in my throat. What if he cheated on me? But no, our love was too strong for this kind of pettiness. It would pull us through and show us to light. The marrying would happen into Temple of Hera, because sadly she is the god of weddings and stuff, even though Zeus cheats on her like every day. Nice. Anyways, we took out the statue of Hera and did spells to make everything look like it was a night with many stars. Also, we had exemplifiers to play music very loud. I walked up the aisle to the altar. Ivy and Hazel and Jason carried my vow. Fluttershy walked proudly before us, throwing black roses out from a spatial slot Hephaestus put there so it could all throw black roses. The music started to play. It was the song that Tim Muses wrote for the wedding. It was hardcore, but sensitive. With lots of drums, but a violin in the middle, also a guitar. It was called Forever Alone. Forever Alone! It was epic, but kind of depressing, cause Chiron broke it down, and a tear rattled his cheek, and I knew he was thinking of Kornos. But you know what? Fook Kornos. This was my wedding, and I was thinking about me. Whoa, 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 I just realized, hold up. Chiron is the son of Kronos. That makes Chiron Flavia's uncle, right? No, wait. Hold on, wait. Yes, this does make... Wait, shit. I'm confused. No, wait. No, Kronos is Flavia's brother, right? Yes. Chiron is Flavia's brother. Flavia called Chiron hot multiple times. Flavia is a canonical, incestuous slut. She thinks her own brother, her own half-brother, is hot. Canonically. Oh my god. Oh my god. I went to the altar, and there was Alabaster looking so hot he could have burst her it into a confetti of hotness. We didn't have a ministration because we were Greek, so instead Artmaeus married us. Not like that, you perv. She said, Alabaster C. Torrington, do thou take Flavia Maya Lilith Knight as thou lawful weddinged wife. Alabaster spoke Timos 3 powerful words in the world. I do. Oh my god, such math, such algebra in this fanfic. And you know what this reminded me of? I don't know how many of you in the chat right now like watch my my Five Nights at Freddy's book reviews. In one of them, there is a really stupid mistake where they say like 5 simple words, but it turns out that the phrase has like 6 words in it. So it was like, she heard him say the 5 simple words. This game is only for 2, which is 6. Like, the official FNAF novels, published by Scholastic, written by career writers, headed by Scott Cawthon, are on the same mathematical wavelength as Moondaughter. Wait, there's a FNAF book review. Yeah, go back to my channel. Like, I did these like 2 years ago, something crazy like that. I started like reviewing all the FNAF books. This was like prehistoric Nick Carlson press. Back in the days when funny story, I'll tell you, funny story. I made a video essay about security breach, and it like broke Twitter for about a week because I had some really graphic art, original commission art in there. Very long story. But anyway, that's what really kicked off my channel. I became a partner, YouTube partner overnight because that video just exploded. Anyway. Flavia Maya Lilith Knight, does thou take Alabaster C. Torignitan as thou lawful weddinged husband, said Artmaeus. I do, I said, and my heart did a poor rote. It was like now nothin' would be the same ever. Then thou may recite thou vows, she said. What the fuck? You wrote vows? That's so hot, I gasaped. Alabaster lifted his finger and wrote glowing green runes in the air in front of us. It was a poem, and it was like this. Okay, I haven't seen this. I had to prep myself real quick. We're reading some poetry now. I have to mentally psych myself to read this. Excuse me. Okay. Flavia, thou art to one in my heart. Thou was dark and mistress, but also kind in thou heart. When to moon rise darkly over the Roman camp, thou face on my heart will ever be stamped. I don't know how I deserve a goddess like thou. After my life's of sadness, there is happiness now. Thou saved me from my life's shadows, 'cause thou art the one. Flavia Maya Lilith Knight, by the gods thou was spun one. Now forever, well be gods and goddesses above, all to world will glow from our love. The end. Oh, tears. So beautiful. Robert Frost could never. That was gorgeous. I will never emotionally recover from that. That was the most beautiful expression of love and unprepful darkness I have ever heard in my life. Oh my fucking Zeus, I screamed, It was the most meaningful thing any person had done to me ever. I had no words, so I couldn't speak. Instead, I kissed Alabaster right there, and it was the sexiest kiss. We were surrounded by tendrils of love. Ew. I pronounce thou God and Goddess, yelled Artmaeus. Instantly, we began to glow darkly. Power coursed through our veins, and I knew this was what it was like to be truly a god. And now, all the world would know of our unendless love, 'cause I was Moon Daughter. Title drop! Boom! Boom! There we go. Oh my god. I guess that was technically the end of the fanfic, but we still got the epilogue. My god. Chapter 72. The epilogue. Well, like you probably guessed, this is the end of my story. Thank God. Except my life as a goddess was just started. My godly animal is a white tiger, also a snow leopard, also hot topic, lol. At first I was just a dame god, but now I am to 13 Olympican. Fuck. Well, I guess now you want to know what happened to everyone else. Here is a explanation. Leo and Hazel became engaged to each other. It was very romantical, and to gods bless their unionizing. Gods pro-workers' rights? Percy hooked up with Ivy. She stopped being a huntress. It wasn't her style, she decided right before she said the vows. Jason found the actress who played Fluttershy, and guess what? She was a dame god from Demeter, and they dated each other. Holy crap. Percy's mom got help, and now she's totally normal with Poseidon. Thank God. Annabeth was forever alone, but this was the way of the prep. After like 10 years, she married a rich muggle for his money, but she didn't love him, and he cheated on her like every day. Perfect. Frank got made second in commander to the Roman camp. He was ruled with the wiseness of the samurai. Just the casual, just like mixing of China and Japan in this fanfic is just like Alabaster married me. Duh, didn't you even read the last chapter? And he was a god, too. We ruled longly until the stars rained from the sky. And so it was. Author notes. To the Flamers. I don't even read your reviews, but you couldn't stop me. I followed my heart to the end of chapter 71, also the epilogue. Remember Artmaeus' wise advice. Behind every great person, there are some haters. This is truly a correct knowledge. Thanks to my many fans, you're all epic and awesome, and you rock. I can't promise anything yet, but let's just say, keep your lookout for Moon Daughter 2. 1. Wow. I guess we rock, guys. Exactly. We have completed the entire reading of Moondaughter. Wow. You know, I am now, like, pretty much certain this was a trollfic. But you know what? Sometimes it's fun to just pretend that there are legitimately crazy people out there. And that Hannah legitimately wrote this thing in earnest from her heart. Her dark, twisted, confused heart. So, that was a journey. Thank you all so much for stopping by and sticking through me these whole 72 chapters. And again, my sincere apologies that we literally lost like 20 or so chapters. So stupid. But from what I gathered, you know, what happened with, you know, the YouTube editor tool, that is like, because I was looking up if there was a way to restore the video, and apparently, like, there were so many questions across, like, forums and Reddit that apparently this is a common occurrence, because people, they think they're trimming out something when really they actually just save the trimmed parts. So it's a common mistake, honestly. Like, they should make, like... So I looked it up. Apparently, like, there's a trim/cut tool, but you have to, like, switch tools. So you have to like switch tools. Like, one is blue, one is red. That wasn't made very obvious to me. Like, they should make cut like a separate tool, if you ask me. Like, because the cut feature, like, they cut, you know, cut this part out of your video. Yes, definitely. So. Anyway. What to do for the last part? I guess I just want to show something I found. That was really funny. I remember we were crapping on Billy Cool's AI music a few live streams ago. I've been made aware of something really freaking funny. The worst band in the world, Psycho Sinner. I'm gonna play it with to you all because it really is really fucking funny. Fucking Psycho Sinner. It's this. Because I just want to end on a high note. Something we could all, like, something a bit more engaging we could laugh at and be stupid with. So, we're just gonna listen to this song, this amazing freaking song. It's called We Hate You by Psycho Sinner. Goodness. So edgy. He's the devil. They're all wearing devil masks. So edgy. Just wait for these lyrics. You haven't heard anything yet. Drop it!
Wish I could get the world to swallow both barrels of my gun. Fuck your fucking life. Wish you would fucking die. Everyone's self-important and fucking thinks their shit don't smell. I'm gonna pull my pants down, so kiss my ass and go to hell. Fuck your fucking life, wish you would fucking die. We hate your face, eat shit and die today. We hate your face, we fucking hate you. We hate your face, eat shit and die today. We hate your face, we fucking hate you. We fucking hate you. We 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 hate your face, eat shit and die today. We hate your face, we fucking hate you. We hate your face, eat shit and die today. We hate your face, we fucking hate you. We hate you, motherfucker, motherfucker. We hate you, motherfucker, motherfucker. We hate you, motherfucker, motherfucker. We hate you.
Beautiful. That was an amazing song. That is the kind of shit Flavia listens to and thinks it's deep. So yeah. Guys, I think they hate us. No, I will say, like, the lyrics are dog shit, obviously. They're so stupid. Instrumental, not terrible. But still not good, though. Like, this sounds like AI generated metal. Flavia to literally any other girl besides Ivy or Hazel in the series. True. Oh man. So I think that was a good note to end on. No pun intended. As always, folks, this was. Actually, you know what? Let me know if you want to do. We should do another live stream down the line where we just listen to this fucking band's entire discography, Psycho Sinner. Like, look at this channel. They have. We're not going to listen to all of this, I think, but there's going to be there's some bangers in here. So, anyway, that was a journey. Moondaughter was definitely a journey. It was, beautiful. Thank you all for sticking around. Thank you all for enjoying, the shitty writing, the shitty music with me. So, will there be another fanfic reading streams in the future? I would love to do that. I would love to make series out of these, just like put them on my channel. But I think I really want to if I really want to commit to that, I think I by obligation have to complete the Moondaughter saga and just redo chapters 41 to 60. So I mean and maybe I'll do it a few weeks from now when I'm back from vacation. But yeah. Anyway, y'all are amazing. Thank you all for sticking around, for suffering through this with me. Can I write a fanfic about you in the style of Moondaughter? Won't do it. No balls. I bet you won't even try. Anywho. I hope I get a chance to show you my novel, still work in progress. Wait for 25K. Got a big announcement then. You'll get a chance. Anyway. Take care. I'll see you all